Picture the Academy Awards as a truly global arena. Thousands of international films released every year, all competing purely on their artistic merits to reach the final 5 nominees for Best International Feature Film. But that wide-open race is an illusion. By the time the red carpet rolls out in Hollywood, the real competition ended months ago. Look at this graphic detailing the road to Oscar Gold. Over the last 25 years, 96% of winners screened at Cannes, Toronto, the Berlinale, or Venice. Panning down, 85% of nominees originated from these exact same festivals. The 2026 Oscar lineup perfectly illustrates this structure. Out of the entire global cinematic output, every single one of the 5 final nominees began their journey at one of these major festivals. 4 of those specific films premiered in competition at Cannes, taking home top honors like the Palme d'Or and the Grand Prix. The 5th film, The Voice of Hind Rajab, won the Grand Jury Prize at Venice. Skipping these 4 festivals creates a massive structural disadvantage. Without the initial launchpad they provide, an international film simply cannot generate the concentrated visibility required to even enter the Academy's conversation. The pipeline begins in May on the French Riviera. The Cannes Film Festival functions as an early-stage selection mechanism, filtering thousands of submissions down to a highly curated lineup for the global film industry. Securing a competition slot or winning a top prize like the Palme d'Or sends an immediate signal of quality to distributors and critics worldwide. This specific placement triggers an explosion of international press. Within days, early critical consensus forms and acquisition deals are signed, creating a concentrated burst of momentum. We saw this exact trajectory with Amour in 2012, and again with Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. Both films premiered at Cannes, secured rave reviews, and used that initial surge to dominate the entire year's award cycle. Only 2 Palme d'Or winners in the last 25 years have actually won the Best International Feature Oscar. The French prize doesn't guarantee an Academy Award, but it absolutely secures a film spot as a top-tier priority for the rest of the year. A screening at Cannes is where a film's competitive awards narrative is officially constructed, months before most audiences even see a trailer. As the calendar turns to late summer, the focus shifts to Italy. The Venice Film Festival provides a complimentary, highly visible launchpad. Because Venice takes place in September, it sits right on the edge of the official Hollywood award season. A successful premiere here captures fresh, immediate momentum just as Academy voters are returning from their summer breaks. Alfonso Cuarón's Roma followed this path perfectly. Winning the Golden Lion, Venice's highest prize, instantly established the film as the undeniable frontrunner for the upcoming winter season. Days later, the Toronto International Film Festival takes over. Toronto lacks a formal jury, so it relies heavily on public reception to act as an essential exposure checkpoint for the North American market. Moving from a European premiere to North American audience validation creates a multi-month cycle of visibility. Surviving this gauntlet is the required mechanism to upgrade a movie from a critical darling to a verified contender. Competing for an Oscar is incredibly expensive. Distributors spend millions of dollars on marketing, private screenings, and public relations, and they have to decide exactly where to allocate those limited funds. They do not spread their money evenly. Instead, award strategists and distributors align their financial resources rapidly around the specific films that already proved themselves at Cannes and Venice. This flowchart shows the cascade. The 2026 nominee, Sentimental Value, used its Cannes Grand Prix win as the initial validation node. That single placement triggered downstream distribution deals, sustained media coverage, and the campaign funding needed to keep it in the spotlight. A studio cannot simply buy its way into the Hollywood awards machine in November. They must first secure that necessary business-to-business validation in Europe over the summer. By the time winter arrives and Academy voters finally begin watching the shortlists, the foundation for the competition has already been firmly laid. The successful festival films have enjoyed 6 to 8 months of continuous media coverage. They're deeply embedded within the global cinematic discourse. Films that attempt to skip the festival circuit entirely face immense friction. Without the free marketing generated by Cannes or Venice, they require massive, often prohibitive financial investments to achieve even a fraction of the same visibility. The data is clear. A placement at one of these 4 major festivals remains the ultimate leading indicator of Oscar performance in the Best International Feature category. It might be the Academy's top prize, But if a filmmaker truly wants to hold that gold statue in March, their campaign actually had to start nearly a year earlier, on a European red carpet.